Hey, what's going on, Frag fam? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. Real quick video today, pretty straightforward. I wanted to give my first impressions and thoughts on two very much anticipated recent fragrance releases. That is going to be Hermès's Terre de Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense and by Kilian's Angel Share Paradis. I was able to sample, test, and wear these fragrances not too long ago. Terre de Hermès one, I actually tested that in a department store and just kind of wore it on my skin for the rest of the day and, kind of internalized my thoughts. And then Angel Share I actually have a sample of, and I did wear it not too long ago, a couple days ago. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on wearing that. So that's all this video is going to be. It's just first impressions. I don't own either one of these fragrances at this time. So that's why we're going to call it first impressions. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Before we do, as always, please remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're gonna start it off with Terre de Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. If you know me, I am a big fan of the Terre de Hermès line. I've got every fragrance with the exception of Eau Très Fraîche. I did look for it recently like a fool, like I had any chance of actually finding that fragrance. If I get a chance to get it for a nice price, honestly, I would just go ahead and pick it up just to complete the line. I am a fan of the Terre de Hermès line. I would not mind having all of them. So that being said, I had to go and check this one out. So what are my thoughts on it? Again, saw this at a department store. It was a Nordstrom, and they had it, so I just sprayed it on my hand and, kind of just let it do its thing on my skin for the remainder of the day. So first thing I did notice, there is a Terre de Hermès similarity there. It's not something that's completely different. It is a Terre de Hermès fragrance. The first thing I definitely noticed though is this is the warmest interpretation of a Terre de Hermès fragrance. I found it to have a heavy use of almost like labdanum kind of smell to it. It almost had like an ambery resinous touch to it. I think I did look at the note breakdown. I want to say labdanum was on there. It felt like labdanum because it was rather smoky. The smokiness of the fragrance has definitely been intensified. It retains that smoky nature to it, but you know what? It doesn't really smell like smoky vetiver anymore. I almost feel like the vetiver aspect has somewhat been removed. It's more so about the earthiness and the smokiness with this scent, with a slight ambery touch. Maybe some amber-like ingredients, similar to labdanum, which is often used in some amber accords. That's why I brought that up. But yeah, overall, very earthy and smoky. You still get a little bit of a citrus, but I would say that one is kind of taking a little bit of a backseat. Still kind of falls in that grapefruit range, but it's hampered down a little bit, but that kind of brightness is still there. I don't really get any kind of orange either. This one's all about the earthiness and the smokiness. That's the whole intensified nature of the fragrance that you're getting. Honestly, it pushed off my skin quite well. I could smell it. This was around 11 o'clock a.m. that I sprayed it on my skin. I could still smell it well into that evening, that night, if you will, off of my hand. And like I said, all I did was spray one or two times on my hand. That's it. And I was able to pick it up throughout the day. I rather enjoyed the smell, to be honest. Was kind of warm. I even got a little bit of a dark coffee kind of vibe from it as well. Kind of slightly gourmand, very slightly, not fully. And I do appreciate that it is a different take on the Terre de Hermès DNA. Ultimately, is it a DNA I needed to add? I'll keep an eye out for the price. I'll put it that way. I don't feel like I had to grab it right away, even though I did thoroughly enjoy it at the same time. I would say there's fragrances in my cabinet that kind of give me that vibe. I don't feel like I have to jump on it right away. But would I pick it up? Possibly. If it goes for a really, really nice price, I'm open to it. I may even get I'm guessing they have a 50 milliliter bottle of it. I may even just grab that. Matter of fact, their bottles are all like refillable now. If I could even get the refill by itself, I'm cool with that too, to be honest. I don't necessarily have to have the bottle. But overall, I'm not mad at it. But was it something we necessarily needed? Probably not. At this point, a lot of these flankers, they're not really giving anything new, in my opinion. And that's across the board for all fragrances. Even though I overall respect Hermès a lot more than some of these other designer brands, I don't know if this was really needed. But overall, I don't mind the fragrance. I think it's a good one. But give us something new, man. Just think up something new altogether, please. That goes out to all all the designer brands, all the major designer brands. Just give us something new, please. All right, so that's my first impressions of Hermès Terre de Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. All right, so we're gonna move on to by Kilian Angel Share Paradis. Much anticipated release. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of Angel Share fans. I do actually have a sample of this, so I did get to wear it, give it a full wear. As you can see, almost dropped it. As you can see, it is half gone. And so with it being half gone, I almost feel like I got a full wear out of it. So that's saying something about the power of the fragrance. I sprayed it like, I don't know, I think I did like 3 sprays on each inner elbow, and then I did 2 sprays on the collarbone inside my shirt. And that was enough for me to fully experience the fragrance as if I had sprayed Angel Share on my skin. So coming from the sample, that's a good sign in terms of the power of the fragrance. Overall, what's the main difference between this one and Angel Share for me? In addition of like a raspberry or berry based liqueur. That's kind of the biggest difference from it. Also, a big pullback on like the nuttiness. Angel Share for me is very strong on the nuts, the hazelnut, smoky hazelnut powderiness of nuttiness like notes that you can kind of get from fragrances. They use notes like that. For me, that was mostly what Angel Share was portraying. A little bit of a booziness, more of a boozy vibe, where this one absolutely is a boozy fragrance through and through. There's no questioning it whatsoever. Still has the cognac feel to it, but it's mixing with a raspberry liqueur. So any cognac that uses that, that's kind of what this fragrance reminds me of, and it retained that throughout the life of the fragrance. It kept that boozy nature to it, but overall it definitely does smell like a flanker of Angel Share, but with a slightly different approach, which I can appreciate. It's got the spiciness to it, maybe not quite as much as the original Angel Share. Again, the spice profile of that is kind of meant to blend with the nuttiness of that fragrance. You have some of that here. You can even smell it from the atomizer as this, but that's not quite as important in this one because of that raspberry liqueur and a more of a focus on the booziness. But there is still a spice profile to this. To me, you do get a little bit of a smoky or at least an aggressive woodiness. The oak wood characteristic of the scent I think has actually been ramped up in this version. It's a little bit more centralized, if you will. It was kind of there, but it was kind of blending with everything else going on in Angel Share, where it's a little bit more of a concrete base note to Angel Share Paradis, in my opinion. Overall, I like the stuff. I think it smells great. Do I like it more than Angel Share? I don't know. I think it's kind of a yes and a no. I appreciate the boozy nature of this over the original Angel Share, but for me, they kind of can achieve the same thing in terms of why you would wear the fragrance. It's just a matter of, do you want to go a little bit more gourmand or do you want to go a little bit more boozy? I know booze is considered a gourmand category, but I'd say it's a little bit less food centered and more drink centered. So I like to differentiate the two just a little bit. But for me, that's kind of the biggest difference. This is a boozier take on the Angel Share DNA. The original Angel Share is a little bit more gourmand compared to this. Similar to Angel Share, to me, projection and longevity are good on this one as well. I don't know if there's much of a difference. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's worse, but that's not a problem with this scent. I do know though that this is, I don't know if this is a higher concentration. It might be. I do know the price of this is pretty ridiculous at retailers. So if I were gonna pick this up, it's gonna have to hit discounters and it's gonna have to be at a price that I am okay with, because while I do definitely enjoy this, I don't know if I absolutely have to have it, but I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind having it. And frankly, the bottle is gorgeous. Again, I don't have the bottle, but you know, you've seen pictures of it. I'll show pictures of it in B-roll. The bottle is gorgeous, if nothing else. That's normally not a reason I buy a fragrance, but man, I really like the way that one looks. So that is my first impressions of Angel Share Paradis. All right, guys, that is gonna be it for this video. If you have had a chance to check out either one of these fragrances, feel free to let me know what you think of them down below. Say whatever you want about them. I don't have any ties to these scents. I'm not sponsored by them. And again, I'm just giving my first impressions on them. I don't own neither one of them. You're not really gonna hurt my feelings if you think these were not good releases. So I would be curious to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.